This is America in the Morning from Westwood One. Good morning, I'm John Trout. It's Tuesday, March 5th, 2024. Here's what's coming up on America in the Morning.
The Supreme Court has given Donald Trump a clear win just before Super Tuesday.
I think it's a very big day.
Sagar Meghani, Washington.
Is today's Super Tuesday elections Nikki Haley's last stand?
Send a signal that we're coming. This freight train's coming.
I'm John Stolnis in Washington.
A controversial immigration law in Texas headed for the Supreme Court.
The tidal wave of illegal entry.
I'm Clayton Neville.
The severe weather may have eased, but communities are digging out from more than 10 feet of snow. I'm Jackie Quinn.
On Wall Street, markets are coming off modest losses as investors wait for Fed testimony coming tomorrow. I'm Jessica Ettinger.
A settlement has been reached in a fake elector case in Wisconsin from the 2020 presidential election. I'm Ed Donahue.
All ahead on America in the Morning. Less than 24 hours before Super Tuesday was set to begin, the Supreme Court has reinstated Donald Trump on presidential primary ballots, giving him a win before the ballots will be counted. Washington correspondent Sagar Meghani reports.
The Supreme Court has given Donald Trump a clear win just before Super Tuesday, restoring him to presidential primary ballots. The court ruled unanimously states cannot invoke a Civil War-era constitutional provision to keep Trump or any other presidential candidate off the ballot, saying only Congress has that power. The ruling ends bids by dozens of states to end the Trump candidacy.
I think it's a very big day for America. I think it's a very big day for liberty, and I think it's just a great day for this country. Again, I hope it's unifying like I think, but it's a big step toward unification.
Trump says it's the right decision, one that'll be talked about for centuries.
Essentially, you cannot take somebody out of a race because an opponent would like to have it that way. And it has nothing to do with the fact that it's the leading candidate, whether it was the leading candidate or a candidate that was well down on the totem pole. You cannot take somebody out of a race. The voters can take the person out of the race very quickly, but a court shouldn't be doing that, and the Supreme Court saw that.
What political analyst Chris Galdieri at St. Anselm College thinks the court saw is a politically fraught case.
We know that this Supreme Court can move quickly when it wants to, and to have an issue like this and essentially put a 2-month delay on oral arguments and what will probably be another 2-month delay before you get a ruling, effectively is immunizing Trump before the election.
The court will hear arguments next month on whether Trump can be prosecuted on election interference charges.
They worked long, they worked hard, and frankly, they worked very quickly on something that will be spoken about 100 years from now and 200 years from now. Extremely important.
Sagar Meghani, Washington.
Today, voters in 16 states are heading to the polls for their primaries, also known as Super Tuesday, with a huge chunk of delegates at stake. John Stolnis tells us how things are shaping up for Donald Trump, Nikki Haley, and President Biden on the biggest day of the campaign so far.
In a town hall at his Mar-a-Lago, Florida home, broadcast on Right Side Broadcasting last night, former President Trump urging voters to get out and cast their ballots today.
Get out to vote tomorrow. Get your husband, get your wife, get your friends, get their friends, because we want to send a signal that we're coming. This freight train's coming.
So far, only about 14% of the total delegates have been up for grabs. Today, 35% will be. And if the polling is right, Trump is set to dominate his last remaining challenger, Nikki Haley, who rallied her supporters in Spring, Texas yesterday.
Don't complain about what happens in a general election if you don't play in this primary. It matters. We can do better than two 80-year-old candidates for president.
Erin Packwood is a Haley supporter.
She's got a very reasonable perspective, and I think she has people from both sides of the traditional red and blue ilk that support her because of that.
So far, the only primary Haley has won is Washington, D.C.
Because that's the swamp.
It's a badge of honor to lose that.
If I won it, I would have said that could be a problem because, a lot of people would say, what's this all about?
According to 538, a polling average finds Trump with a lead of anywhere from 36 to 68 points in 6 states: Massachusetts, North Carolina, Virginia, California, Texas, and Tennessee. And he leads by at least 42 points in 4 other states. However, there has been scant polling in many of these states, so a surprise or two is possible. Trump, however, is optimistic.
We could very well win every state in record numbers. That's what we're hoping for.
It's unclear if Haley will stay in the race should she have a poor night tonight. She is only committed to staying in the race through Super Tuesday. On the Democratic side, President Biden is spending Super Tuesday at the White House talking about inflation. He's expected to cruise to big victories in all 16 Democratic primary states today. Trump could clinch the nomination as early as next week, Biden the week after. John Stolnis, Washington.
Will a new immigration law pass the scrutiny of the Supreme Court? When America in the Morning returns after these messages. This is America in the Morning. Welcome back on where you might need that umbrella this Tuesday. Here's AccuWeather.com meteorologist Carl Erickson.
The umbrella will come in handy today across the Northeast, where a coastal storm will spread rain from the nation's capital, Baltimore and Philadelphia this morning, northward across New York City and Boston through today. This rain will reach far northern New England this afternoon. While the rain will not be all that heavy, moderate downpours at times will cause reduced visibility and ponding of water in area streets, which can result in slower travel and delays. Meanwhile, a cold front slicing through the lower Great Lakes and Ohio Valley will bring rounds of rain with thunderstorms possible over Indiana, Ohio, and Kentucky. Showers and storms will be widespread across the lower Mississippi Valley eastward along the Gulf Coast states. Some of the storms over Arkansas, Louisiana, and Mississippi can turn severe, capable of producing large hail, damaging wind gusts, and flooding downpours. While the Florida Panhandle will have numerous showers and storms around, the rest of the Sunshine State will have more spotty shower activity. High pressure will promote dry weather with sunshine over the central and southern plains into the southwest. Calmer weather with lighter winds will remain in place today over the Texas Panhandle, giving firefighters a reprieve from the critical fire risk conditions that have aided the wildfire's explosive spread over the past few days. More clouds will be found over the northern plains with little snow falling over eastern parts of the Dakotas into western Minnesota. Although not as heavy as recent days, there'll still be some lingering rain and mountain snow over Oregon and northern California, with periods of snow falling over the mountains of Idaho and western Montana. Some snow showers will spill over into the Colorado Rockies. Meanwhile, Southern California will have dry and nice weather today with sunshine and patchy clouds. And that's the weather across America. In Boston today, rain, high 46. Meanwhile, in San Diego, partly sunny with a high of 65. That's the nation's weather. I'm AccuWeather.com meteorologist Carl Erickson.
Remember, you can follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and YouTube. Just search America in the Morning in your favorite listening app. I'm John Trout. After losing in federal court, the Biden administration is asking the U.S. Supreme Court to hear a case surrounding a new immigration law in Texas. Correspondent Clayton Neville reports.
The High Court being asked to hear a case surrounding SB 4. That's a measure that was passed into law by the state legislature. Texas Governor Greg Abbott, an adamant supporter of that law.
The goal of Senate Bill 4 is to stop the tidal wave of illegal entry into Texas. It creates a criminal offense for illegal entry into Texas from a foreign nation.
Critics say the law will lead to racial profiling. It would allow Texas law enforcement to stop and arrest migrants suspected of breaking the law. And state judges would be able to issue de facto deportation orders against the suspect. Last week, a U.S. district judge blocked the law, but the ruling was overturned by a federal appellate court this week. The Biden administration didn't hesitate to go to the Supreme Court after that ruling. The High Court then paused the appellate court's ruling through March 13th, while Texas pleads its case. I'm Clayton Neville.
People in the mountains of 2 western states are digging out from a days-long blizzard that included hurricane-force winds in the Sierra Nevada. Correspondent Jackie Quinn has a follow-up.
The severe weather may have eased in some places, but communities are digging out from more than 10 feet of snow. At the Sugar Bowl Ski Resort in Norden, California, workers couldn't get into work because of snow accumulation blocking their door. They had to dig a tunnel. While in snow-covered Truckee, Kevin Dupuis tried to blow out, dig out, and sweep out piles and piles of white snow.
It's not really snow removal because it doesn't get removed. It just kind of puts it into the bank.
So we just move it around.
The California Highway Patrol, which had to rescue stranded drivers around Lake Tahoe, says tire chains are still required for certain routes through the mountains. I'm Jackie Quinn.
When we return on America in the Morning, hotel booking sites. FTC warning after these messages. Former executives at X are suing Elon Musk, accusing the billionaire of withholding severance payments worth as much as $128 million after he took over the social media company formerly known as Twitter. When Musk bought the company, he fired the chief executive officer, the CFO, the head of legal, and the general counsel. The four purportedly claim that Musk improperly fired them for cause to deny each their severance packages. We'll keep you posted. Here's CNBC's Jessica Ettinger with Tuesday Business.
Wall Street opens this morning after a down day for the major averages, modest losses.
We're due for something, at least a basic random 3 to 5% drop, because that happens for no reason at all a few times a year. We haven't had one in 4 months.
CNBC's Mike Santoli, but plenty of companies' shares hit record highs yesterday, including Facebook parent Meta, Olive Garden parent Darden Restaurants, Costco, and NVIDIA. Gold hit a record high yesterday, over $2,100 an ounce. Bitcoin inching closer to its record high, which is near $69,000 from 2021. Yesterday, it topped $67,500. American Airlines is ordering 260 new jets, including some Boeing 737 MAX 10s.
From Boeing, those deliveries aren't coming until 2028, and they've got to get it certified. The only thing that matters to us is safety and quality.
American Airlines CEO Robert Isom on CNBC. Ford out with impressive February sales numbers, jumping more than 10%, and it's doubling down on those hybrid pickup trucks.
Hybrid sales, no surprise here, up more than 31% compared to last year. Hybrids, a big hit with Ford truck buyers. They are going to be increasing, doubling their mix of F-150 hybrids. Last year, about 10 or 11% of the F-150s that were sold were gas-electric hybrid versions. This year, they expect it to be closer to 20 or 22%.
CNBC's Phil LeBeau.
Jessica, what's this warning about hotel booking sites?
Yeah, the Federal Trade Commission's warning all of you travelers, beware of third-party hotel booking sites. They mimic the real hotel website, but hit you with enormous junk fees.
It is set up so that you think you are booking directly with that hotel. It's got the same fonts. It's got the same setups.
That's Justin Perry. He spoke with NBC News after he booked a hotel room online. Then the confirmation email showed an extra $155 in service fees. He had just searched Google for the specific hotel, but accidentally landed on a third-party site called guestreservations.com. That site told NBC all its fees are displayed, but watch out. Many of these fee-laden sites use web addresses that include the name of the hotel you actually want.
That's a lot of the complaints we get about the third-party booking sites, is that they're pretending to be from the hotel when they're actually not.
The Better Business Bureau's Melanie McGovern. There's lots more on this at NBCnews.com. On today's watch list, earnings are coming from Target and Nordstrom, plus CrowdStrike. We get factory orders for January. Mega Millions, the jackpot tonight, well more than $500 million.
CNBC's Jessica Ettinger. California drive-by, Wisconsin's fake electors settlement. When America in the Morning returns after these messages. This is America in the Morning. Gunmen opened fire in a town between Monterey and Bakersfield, California, as they drove past a party. Sue Aller reports that when the shooting stopped, 4 people were dead.
She died where she worked. Sunday night, Alicia Ramirez Aparicio was celebrating her birthday when, according to King City, California police, 3 masked gunmen jumped out of a Kia and started shooting. She worked at Maine Memorial Hospital. She was taken there, and that's where she died, leaving behind 4 kids. Police say 3 men also died at the scene, and 7 others were shot and injured. King City Police Chief James Hunt spoke to KION News 46.
We don't believe there's a threat to the public at this point. What we do have is we have a vehicle involved, and that would be a silver Kia. And then there were 3 individuals, appear to be all males, and they were wearing dark clothing. And at the time of the shooting, they were wearing dark masks as well.
Police added that this could be gang-related. There is also a $20,000 reward that is being offered for any additional information that could lead to an arrest. I'm Sue Aller.
The case involving fake electors has been settled in an election swing state. Correspondent Ed Donahue reports.
According to the settlement, 2 attorneys for then-President Donald Trump, Kenneth Chesborough and Jim Trupis, orchestrated a plan for fake electors to file paperwork falsely saying Trump won in Wisconsin. The 2 men turned over more than 1,400 pages of documents, emails, and text messages. It's a strategy used in 6 other states, including Georgia, where Chesborough has already pleaded guilty. There is no admission of wrongdoing or liability in the agreements in Wisconsin, in which Chesborough and Trupis promised to never take part in similar efforts involving future presidential campaigns. Michigan and Nevada have criminally charged fake electors, but there's no known criminal investigation in Wisconsin. I'm Ed Donahue.
America in the Morning for Tuesday, March 5th, 2024 is produced by Jeff McKay, senior producer Kevin Delaney. I'm John Trout. This is Westwood One. This is America in the Morning from Westwood One. I'm John Trout. Coming up this half hour.
A sit-down this Super Tuesday with Nikki Haley. I'm Clayton Neville.
Former Trump Company CFO Alan Weisselberg pleaded guilty to lying under oath. Julie Walker, New York.
The UN says they believe Hamas has indeed sexually attacked Israeli women. I'm Pamela Furr.
A member of the military to plead guilty to posting top secrets online.
The firefight continues in the Texas Panhandle in Oklahoma. I'm Jennifer King.
There are more safety issues for Boeing. I'm Shirley Adler.
Computers likely to be as smart as humans in about 5 years. I'm Chuck Palm.
Lifeguards in iconic red bathing suits are going to be back on television. I'm Kevin Carr.
Back after these messages. Welcome back. This is America in the Morning. On the potential threat for severe weather today, here's AccuWeather.com meteorologist Carl Erickson. Carl?
The main threat for severe weather today will be focused across the lower Mississippi Valley eastward along the Gulf Coast states. Some of the storms over Arkansas, Louisiana, and Mississippi can turn out severe, capable of producing large hail, damaging wind gusts, and flooding downpours. While the Florida Panhandle will have numerous showers and thunderstorms around, the rest of the Sunshine State will have more spotty shower activity. Meanwhile, a cold front slicing through the lower Great Lakes and Ohio Valley will bring rounds of rain and thunderstorms, especially over Indiana, Ohio, and Kentucky. The wiper blades will come in handy today across the Northeast as a coastal storm will spread rain from the nation's capital in Philadelphia this morning, northward across New York City and Boston through today. This rain will reach far northern New England this afternoon. Moderate downpours at times will cause reduced visibility and ponding of water in area streets, which can result in slower travel and delays. Across the northern plains, skies will be mostly cloudy with little snow falling over eastern parts of the Dakotas into western Minnesota. Little to no snow accumulation is expected in these areas, but wet and slushy roads may result in slower travel at times. High pressure will promote dry weather with sunshine over the central and southern plains into the southwest and back into southern California, where this afternoon will turn out sunny and nice. Calmer weather with lighter winds will remain in place today over the Texas Panhandle, giving firefighters a reprieve from the critical fire risk conditions that have aided the wildfire's explosive spread over the past several days. There'll still be some lingering rain and mountain snow over Oregon and northern California, with periods of snow falling over the mountains of Idaho and western Montana. However, the intensity will be less compared to recent days. Some snow showers will spill over into the mountains of Utah and Colorado. That's the nation's weather. I'm AccuWeather.com meteorologist Carl Erickson.
I'm John Trout. Remember to follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and YouTube. Just search America in the Morning in your favorite listening app. Republican presidential candidate and former U.S. ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley, is optimistic that her campaign can be competitive in today's primaries. In an exclusive interview, America in the Morning correspondent Clayton Neville sat down with Haley during a campaign rally in Texas on the eve of Super Tuesday.
Coming off her first win this election season, taking the primary in D.C., Nikki Haley was introduced by the mayor of Fort Worth, Texas, at a rally ahead of the state's primary today.
The woman that I choose for President of the United States of America, Governor Nikki Haley.
I sat down with her after the event. How about the reception here in Fort Worth? It was pretty exciting.
It was amazing. We had over 1,200 people today. We had over 1,000 people in Houston. And this is a pro-America crowd. This is not an anti-anything. This is a pro-America where they want to see someone that can go in for 8 years, put in the hard work, no drama, no vendettas, no negativity, just real results for the American people. And you see they're craving it. They're tired of the same old thing that we've had with Joe Biden and Donald Trump. They see the fact that we have $34 trillion in debt and all the wasteful spending happening from Republicans and Democrats. They see an open border that's out of control. They see that only 31% of eighth graders in our country are proficient in reading. They see the lawlessness in our cities, and they see wars breaking out around the world. At some point, we've got to start focusing on what we need to do to get America back on track.
During the rally and afterward, Haley pushed the message that she's the best chance Republicans have to beat President Biden in November.
I mean, look, we can want everything in the country to change, but if we can't win a general election, none of it's going to happen. And you saw another poll came out today from Fox. You know, Donald Trump was again within the margin of error. I defeat Joe Biden by 8 points. The Marquette poll last week, I defeated him by 18 points. You win like that, that's bigger than the presidency. That's House, that's Senate, that's governorships, that's school board.
I asked Ambassador Haley her reaction to the Supreme Court decision to allow her opponent, President Trump, on the ballot in Colorado, despite the state's efforts to keep him off of it.
It was absolutely the right one. You don't ever want a Secretary of State or any state to be able to just say they don't want someone on the ballot because they don't like them or pick a reason. I think the Supreme Court did exactly what they should. The people need to decide this. Look, my goal is to defeat Donald Trump fair and square. But no one needs to be able to throw someone off the ballot like that. And so I'm glad the Supreme Court ruled and ruled quickly.
It's been a whirlwind of a campaign in recent weeks for Haley, who says she has no plans to exit the race.
And what does a successful Super Tuesday look like for you and your campaign?
Our goal has always been to be competitive. As long as we're competitive, that's what we're trying to do. So we're running through the tape the whole way through, hoping that we have good results like we saw in Washington, D.C. and go forward. People are passionate, they're excited, but we say, you know, in a general election, you're given a choice. In a primary, we make our choice.
Exactly how competitive and what exactly that means still to be determined as voters head to the polls this Super Tuesday. I'm Clayton Neville.
The former Trump Organization chief financial officer has pleaded guilty to perjury charges in a New York court. Correspondent Julie Walker reports that Donald Trump Jr., speaking on his Triggered online show, blasted the Manhattan District Attorney's office for going after Alan Weisselberg, who admitted guilt to the judge, and for going against his father and the Trump company.
It threatened him with 15 years in jail again. On bogus perjury charges. And now he's going to plead guilty to 5 months in jail to make that go away because a 75-year-old guy isn't going to roll the dice with the rest of his life. So they get him to say that he lied on something that's pretty clear he didn't.
Former Trump company CFO Alan Weisselberg pleaded guilty Monday in New York to lying under oath during his testimony in the ex-president's civil fraud case. His plea deal sends him back to jail for 5 months, but does not require him to testify at Donald Trump's hush money criminal trial, which is scheduled to begin March 25th. The counts to which Weisselberg pleaded guilty relate to his testimony in a July 2020 deposition in the New York Attorney General's case against Trump. As part of his plea agreement, Weisselberg admitted that he lied on the witness stand at the civil fraud trial last fall and at a related deposition in May of 2023. Julie Walker, New York.
The United Nations has released an alarming report saying there are grounds to believe that the terrorists from Hamas committed rape and other inhumane treatment against Israeli women, both during the attack on Israel in October and also among those they kidnapped. Pamela Furr has more on the story.
Pramila Patton, part of the 9-member technical team who visited Israel and the West Bank, said the information came from first-hand accounts of released hostages.
Conflict-related sexual violence, including rape and gang rape, occurred during the 7th of October attacks in at least 3 locations, namely the Nova Music Festival site and its surroundings, Road 232 and Kibbutz Reim. And in most of these incidents, victims were first subjected to rape and then killed, and at least 2 incidents relate to the rape of women's corpses.
Patton says the team also found clear and convincing information that some women and children during their captivity were subjected to the same sexual violence, including rape and sexualized torture, and that such violence may be ongoing. The team also visited the West Bank and received information from institutional and civil society sources about some forms of sexual violence against Palestinian men and women in detention during house raids and at checkpoints. Now, the report comes 5 months after the October 7th attacks, which left about 1,200 people dead and some 250 others taken hostage. Israel's war against Hamas has since laid waste to the Gaza Strip, killing more than 30,000 people, according to Gaza's health ministry. I'm Pamela Furr.
When we return on America in the Morning, years-long prison sentence possible for Air National Guardsmen. That and more after these messages. Welcome back to America in the Morning. I'm John Trout. Jack Teixeira, the young Massachusetts Air National Guardsman accused of publicly posting top-secret documents, will be pleading guilty for his actions and could spend more than a decade in jail. We have the latest on the story from correspondent Jackie Quinn.
Prosecutors are seeking close to the 17-year maximum prison term for the Massachusetts Air National Guardsman, who's pleaded guilty to leaking highly classified secrets.
6 counts of willful retention and transmission of classified information.
Assistant Attorney General Matt Olson in Boston, after 22-year-old Jack Teixeira pleaded guilty in federal court.
Mr. Teixeira exploited his position of trust and accessed hundreds of classified documents. He then posted them on a social media platform.
Massachusetts U.S. Attorney Joshua Levy says classified documents were posted to a public forum called Discord.
A platform that allows anyone who wants to join, and it's a place where people can exchange voice messages, text messages, videos, and it purports to have over 100 million users. That's where Jack Teixeira decided to post some of our nation's most guarded secrets.
The defense is portraying Teixeira as a kid who's remorseful, but a judge has kept him jailed because of rhetoric that could make him attractive to U.S. adversaries. I'm Jackie Quinn.
Plane maker Boeing is facing more headwinds over safety issues. Correspondent Shelley Adler reports.
Federal safety officials say an audit of manufacturing at airplane maker Boeing and its key supplier turned up multiple instances of them failing to make sure manufacturing met quality standards. The FAA said that it found non-compliance issues with Boeing's manufacturing process control and parts handling and storage. The agency has stepped up its scrutiny of Boeing since early January, when a panel blew off a Boeing 737 MAX 9 as it flew 16,000 feet above Oregon. The jet was able to land safely. I'm Shelley Adler.
To battle the largest wildfire in state history, airplanes are dropping retardant to battle blazes in northern Texas. Correspondent Jennifer King reports.
Dry, windy, and unseasonably warm conditions have made it difficult to get a handle on fast-growing wildfires. The Smokehouse Creek fire, the largest in Texas history, is over 1 million acres and about 15% contained. Two other fires that have burned a combined 180,000 acres were 60% contained, according to the Texas A&M Forest Service. In Hutchinson County, emergency managers ordered the evacuation of the town of Sanford overnight due to a grass fire. Bill Martin, manager of the Lone Star Stockyards in Wildorado, Texas, says ranchers in the area face the loss of thousands of head of cattle.
It's really hard to say right now, but it's going to be pretty dramatic.
Also burned outbuildings, fences, and of course the rangeland grasses.
For the next couple months, they're going to have to feed them every bite they eat.
Hundreds of homes are believed to have burned, although damage assessments are still ongoing. Julie Winters with the Hutchinson County United Way, which is collecting a wildfire relief fund for displaced families, says many people who lost their homes were uninsured. I'm Jennifer King.
The United States is keeping a watchful eye on the situation in Haiti, where in the latest round of violence, heavily armed gangs tried to seize control of the main airport in an exchange of gunfire with police and soldiers trying to repel them. Lisa Dwyer has the latest.
The airport was closed when the attack occurred, with no planes operating and no passengers on site. Associated Press journalists saw an armored truck on the tarmac shooting at gangs to try and prevent them from entering the airport grounds. With scores of employees and other workers fled from whizzing bullets. It is the biggest attack on the airport in Haiti's history. The attack occurred just hours after authorities ordered a nighttime curfew following an explosion of violence in which armed gang members overran the two biggest prisons and freed thousands of inmates over the weekend. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
AI could be breaking an important threshold soon, as one chip maker says. They could see artificial general intelligence as smart or smarter than people in just a few years. Here's Chuck Palm with that in today's Tech Report.
NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang said last week that he believed that artificial general intelligence could, by some definitions, be available in as little as 5 years. NVIDIA is the largest manufacturer of artificial intelligence chips that are used to create systems like OpenAI's ChatGPT, and said that the answer largely depends on how the goal is defined. Huang was responding to a question at an economic forum held at Stanford University about how long it would take to achieve one of Silicon Valley's longest-held goals, which is creating a computer that can think like a human. He later said, if the definition is the ability to pass the human tests, artificial general intelligence will arrive soon. The Turing test is often accepted as a test of a machine's ability to exhibit intelligent behavior equal to or indistinguishable from that of a human. Bitcoin jumped 7.5 points to 68,000, and Ethereum up 4.5 points at 3,600. For more tech news, visit allthetoptech.tech. I'm Chuck Palm.
Time for sports this Tuesday. Here's America in the Morning's Robert Workman.
NBA, the Bucks won their sixth straight, coming on strong in the fourth for a 113-106 victory over the Clippers, despite being without Giannis Antetokounmpo, who's got tendonitis in his left Achilles. Damian Lillard took over with 41 points for Coach Doc Rivers.
Our execution offensively was unbelievable down the stretch. We got the ball to the guys that we wanted to get the ball. We kept the game simple.
Elsewhere, the Timberwolves trimmed the Blazers, and the Lakers shot past the Thunder, so Minnesota moves ahead of OKC for first place in the West. Jazz jolted the Wizards. Jordan Clarkson had a game-high 38, including 12 in a row in the fourth quarter to break open a tie game. 15 straight losses for DC. Grizzlies nipped the Nets to snap a 5-game skid, and the Bulls charged back from down 22 to dethrone the Kings on their own court. College basketball, Houston holds on to the top spot in the rankings for a second straight week. March Madness has arrived. It's conference tournament time. The Atlantic Sun began its tourney last night. This evening, play begins in the Sun Belt Conference as well as the Horizon and Patriot Leagues. With the NFL's new year starting next week, teams are shuffling their rosters, and a big discard on Monday as the Broncos announced they will release quarterback Russell Wilson and take a record $85 million cap hit over the next 2 seasons. Denver traded 5 draft picks and 3 players to Seattle to get Wilson, then signed him to a 5-year contract, but it didn't work out. Wilson's QBR the past 2 seasons was 25th in the NFL. NHL, the Panthers ripped the Rangers in a clash of division leaders. Sam Reinhart scored twice.
Thought we were above the puck all night, and that's a playoff game. It's tight to the end, and it's a bounce like that sometimes turns it in your favor or not.
Florida leads the league with 88 points. Bruins, Blue Jackets, Avalanche, Blues, and Kraken win. That's Tuesday Sports.
Thanks, Robert, and stick around. Coming up on America in the Morning, football center retires, and the Hoff back on lifeguard duty after these messages. This is America in the Morning. One of the great football centers of his era, anchor of the Eagles' lone Super Bowl win in 2018, and the brother of Taylor Swift's boyfriend, is calling it a career. Correspondent Gethin Coolbaugh has his story.
Jason Kelce has retired after 13 seasons with the Philadelphia Eagles. The burly, bushy-haired 36-year-old officially called it quits Monday, ending a career in which he became not only one of the greatest centers of his era, who played a key role in the franchise's lone Super Bowl championship, but also a beloved Philly personality and popular podcast host.
I loved football. Whether it was in my backyard with my brother, on the playground with my friends, or suiting up on Friday nights at Cleveland Heights High School. I loved everything about it.
The former sixth-round pick out of Cincinnati in 2011 earned 6 All-Pro and 7 Pro Bowl selections in 193 regular season games for the Eagles. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
The classic lifeguard series Baywatch is going to make a comeback. Kevin Carr has more on the show being tossed a lifeline.
Hollywood is remaking another classic from the 90s again. Fox is rebooting the international hit lifeguard series Baywatch, led by Laura Olson, who worked on the update of 90210. The original Baywatch debuted on NBC in 1989, following the lives of lifeguards in Los Angeles, led by David Hasselhoff.
Saving lives isn't part of competition on my beach.
The series only lasted 1 season on primetime and was quickly canceled. However, it found new life in syndication, running for a total of 11 seasons and spawning a TV movie, as well as the darker-themed Private Eye series Baywatch Nights.
Mitch, you cannot trust one word she says. She is a vampire.
And more importantly, who was running down the beach in them, that helped make Yasmin Bleeth, Erica Eleniak, and Pamela Anderson sex symbols.
CJ, it's beautiful up here. You gotta love it, huh?
I know it's beautiful, but I miss the beach.
In 2017, Paramount produced a Baywatch feature film starring Dwayne Johnson and Zac Efron.
Welcome to Baywatch.
It was a modest hit at the box office, making more money internationally than domestically, but a critical failure. This is the second lifeguard drama in development at Fox. Rescue High Surf was delayed by the labor strikes, but is eyeing a fall 2024 start. I'm Kevin Carr.
America in the Morning for Tuesday, March 5th, 2024 is produced by Jeff McKay, senior producer Kevin Delaney. I'm John Trout. This is Westwood One.